Hi everyone, Bill Duvendack here with the February 2024 monthly astrological preview video. So grab your cuppa, get cozy. You might want to grab pen and paper if you would like to take notes. February is going to be radically different than January, so hold on to your hats. So first of all, for those of you that work with such festivals, February 1st or 2nd, depending on what tradition you work with, is Imbolg in the northern tradition or in the northern hemisphere, and Lammas in the southern. So happy High Holy Day. It's also known as Candlemas. On that day in particular, we've got Venus in Capricorn square Chiron in Aries. So you may find your romantic relationships are full of challenges and growth opportunities. And a lot of these have to do with what you have to change within yourself in order to have a better quality of relationship with your loved ones. So I say romance, but really it's all loved ones. You might find that maybe they are asking you to step up and you doubt yourself whether or not you can do it. Maybe they think you're capable of more than you think you are, even though you're still capable of that. We've also got the north node of the moon in Aries squaring Mars in Capricorn. So you notice right here with Venus and Mars in Capricorn and those Aries squares, February starts off with an emphasis on doing what's right and doing what's immature. This is a theme that's come up a lot over the last couple of weeks for me in various appointments and classes and such. And that is whether you go gently to your greatest growth and good, or whether you're drug kicking and screaming to your greatest growth and good. Now, as part of my business, of course, I spend a lot of time on social media, and I can tell you from observations that 90% of the people out there would rather be drugged to their greatest growth and good rather than grow the fuck up. So if you're listening to this and you know what you need to do to better your life and you're choosing not to do it, that's okay occasionally, but by and large, as a rule of thumb, don't fucking do that. Just go along with the evolution. Go along with the process. Go along with maturing. I'm getting real tired of seeing people in filters, whether it is video work or still photos, because right there it tells me they're a fraud and nothing they say is of value. And why are they using filters? Immaturity. And I will accept no other reason, and it really doesn't matter what I say, but I won't accept any other reason other than immaturity. So if you know what you need to do to improve the quality of your life, and you know that by you making those changes will put you in a better relationship with your loved ones, then flip and do it. The world needs more maturity and growth. That's the theme of the first couple days of February. Seeing what needs to be done and doing it. Putting away the self-talk, putting away the self-deprecating attitudes, putting away the I can't do it. Really, this is the time for growth. This is the time to step up to the next level. And this is driven home by the fact that on the 1st, Mercury is conjunct Mars in Capricorn. So what that means is communication is your vessel for growth and maturity. So then, yes, between the lines, we also see that Venus, Mars, and Mercury are in Capricorn. Other than maturity, Capricorn is all about the career and the occupation. So the beginning of February is a good time to focus on your career. It's a good time to focus on where you're going in your overall direction in life. We also have on that day, that same Mercury-Mars conjunction in Capricorn is squaring Uranus in Taurus, which tells us that you might get too fixated on the big picture and not enough fixated on the day-to-day to get there. A phrase that I learned when I was a youth that really summed it up is your eyes are bigger than your stomach. That might be the case here. You might want the $200,000 house in your name and home ownership and all those adult things, but are you willing to pay the price to do it? And if you say, no, I want it without paying the price, then you ain't gonna get it. It's that simple. All of these that I've been talking about so far are Capricorn themes: maturity, responsibility, aging like a fine wine, rather than going to hell like rotten food. Also on that day, we have Saturn in Pisces sextiling Jupiter in Taurus, and I point out the sextiles because in February there are a lot of them. If you've been watching these videos and paying attention to transits for the last few months, you know there have been a lot of squares and grand crosses and T-squares and a lot of stress and tension and oppositions. And the good news is February is where we break free from that. All those challenges, they were rough at the time, but February comes in with smooth flowing energy, which means a lot of the problems that you might face in February are because you're not rolling with what Spirit is telling you. You know, if I get a message from Spirit, the first thing I do is ask whether or not it's valid. If it's valid, then I go along with the flipping program. I don't know what's best for my spiritual growth a lot of times because I'm limited to this lifetime consciousness. There's probably a bigger plan, and I'd be a dumbass not to go along with it. That kind of thinking can help you work with sextiles, and there's a lot, and we start off here on the first. Saturn sextile Jupiter tells us now is a good time to take your spiritual beliefs and put them into practice in daily life, with the understanding that if you do that, there's going to be a lot of potential for prosperity and the expansion of consciousness. In other words, stay emotionally and spiritually disciplined, stay the course, be unwavering, and you will find the gates of prosperity open to you. It's all about dedication. It's all about devotion. It's all about consistency. It's all about repetition. It's all about steady state. And finally, on the first, that same Mercury-Mars conjunction in Capricorn is sextiling Neptune in Pisces. And I really like this because it's telling us that you have some sort of vision for your life. You have some sort of spiritual lesson or production that you want to bring down to the physical world, and now's the time to start it. Remember, at the end of January, we had Uranus move direct, so that means that all the significant planets in astrology in the solar system are going to be direct until April, I believe it is. It was in the last video. Now is the time for forward motion. Full steam ahead. Move it. We had January to act as the hangover, for lack of a better word, to 2023 and the holiday season. But with February, you don't get that free pass anymore. You can't say, oh, I'm still recovering from the holidays. You're recovered from the holidays. Now it's time to step up and get moving on this year. And that's what a lot of this Mercury-Mars conjunction sextiling Neptune is about. Define the emotional vision for your life. Find your spirituality. What's your paradigm? How do you exhibit it in daily life? I've used a lot of examples of this over the years, and I want to reiterate it here because what this is saying is if you have spiritual beliefs and you're not living them out, you're failing as a person. If you find that you have a spiritual belief, you try and live it out, and it's not healthy, that's time to change your belief. It's really not that hard. The hardest part of the process is in understanding that some of these things are going to be affecting you on a subconscious level because you're dealing with deep-seated wounds and perspectives that came about when you were younger and more impressionable. On the second, we've got the moon in Scorpio trining Saturn in Pisces. So it's a good time to lay a spiritual foundation for the upcoming year. It's a good time to heal emotions as long as you're not lazy about it. We also have that moon in Scorpio opposing Jupiter in Taurus. So it's telling us to be responsible and mature when it comes to indulgence. You know, a lot of people will indulge, and good for them. You should. Existence is pure joy. We're down here to enjoy the fruits of the planet and physical life. We should not be trying to escape into the realm of spirit. That is self-defeating. So with this moon opposite Jupiter, what it's telling us is your passion, your strong emotions may blind you to opportunities for prosperity and growth in your daily life. Now, that same moon in Scorpio is also sextiling Venus in Capricorn. Both Scorpio and Capricorn are very business-oriented signs, And when you've got the moon sextiling Venus, it tells us money is flowing easily to you through your career and occupation, through your business dealings. And when I'm talking money here, I'm talking cash on hand, not investments. So in other words, the more you focus on business, the more you focus on handling your money responsibly, the more is going to come to you. Now, from a romantic perspective, the moon sextiling Venus is saying romance might be in the air. I know we got the Hallmark holiday coming up on February 14th. What month is it? And it could be a precursor to that, or it could just be saying, keep your feelers out if you're interested in a relationship. It might be coming your way. Now, that moon in Scorpio is also squaring the sun in Aquarius. The moon in Scorpio is kind of tricky, and we've talked about it a lot on this day. The moon in Scorpio is very positive on one hand because it means that you're good at keeping secrets, you're very intense, you're very focused, you're very driven. But the drawback to the moon in Scorpio is that you might find it difficult to let go of past traumas. You can see with the activity on the 2nd, it's time to address those traumas. If you want to get anywhere in life, this is the time to address them. And if you don't address them, that's fine, but your life ain't going to get any better than it is now. On the 3rd, we have the moon in Scorpio trining Neptune in Pisces. We've also got, you can see how that kind of continues the theme from a couple of days before that, just in a different fashion. Before it was Mercury and Mars sextiling Neptune and Pisces. Now it's the moon in Scorpio trining Neptune and Pisces. A good theme for this day is spiritual initiation, but also emotional healing. Venus in Capricorn on the 3rd is squaring Chiron in Aries, so you might find the workplace brings stress to you. And when I say that, what I mean is your work environment may be asking more of you than you think you can give. You can give it. You might have to talk yourself into it, but you can give it. Now, other than the career and the occupation, this tells us that romantic relationships may have some challenges to them, and those challenges have to do with your self-image and self-worth. We've also got that moon in Scorpio. See, it's hanging around for a couple days and it's making a lot of strong aspects. Sextiling Mercury and Mars in Capricorn, so it continues that theme of being proactive in the workplace, being proactive when it comes to figuring out where you're going in your direction of life from here, because the clock's ticking and none of us are getting any younger. On the 4th, we have the moon in optimistic, freedom-loving Sagittarius sextiling the sun in Aquarius. So it's a good day to be yourself. Go for a trip. Have some fun. Engage in some spirituality. Tell people what you think of them in your own way. Just don't be a dick. We also have the moon squaring Saturn, so watch for emotional lessons coming to the surface. Watch for conflict of belief systems. And what I mean here is your internal belief systems. You might believe something, and then when you assess it, you see that, oh, well, I actually believe the opposite too. That's a problem, and yes, it's a problem. You can't say, I love everyone, and then turn around on the other hand and say, except those people. No, which is it? Grow the fuck up. I know, I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs already, and the reason for that is all this Capricorn energy is telling all of us, myself included, it's time to change, it's time to grow, it's time to mature, it's time to get more responsible, it's time to put down the toys of youth. That does not mean you can't come back to them later, or in smaller doses. It just means it's time for a shifting in priorities. We also have that moon of Sagittarius trining Chiron in Aries, so it's a good time to heal your inner wounds that have to do with the sense of being and sense of self, specifically through your spirituality, your honesty, and maybe even taking a trip. If the scenery around you hasn't changed in a while, now's the time to do it. Venus in Capricorn is squaring Chiron in Aries, so the more internal work you do, you might find it ruffle some feathers with your loved ones or ruffle some feathers at work. This particular aspect is going to be in play until the 8th, so you're going to have several days to work with it. And finally, on the 4th, we have Saturn in Pisces sextiling Jupiter in Aquarius. We kind of touched on this a few days ago, and I like this because it's saying if you're staying spiritually disciplined and emotionally mature, you are going to unlock all kinds of potential for prosperity and growth and expansion in your daily life. And when it comes to money, on the 5th, Mercury enters into Aquarius, which is good. Mercury is the planet of air. Aquarius is an air sign, ergo it's a strong placement. But also on that day, Mercury is conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. This is tricky. On one hand, it's saying that your words might carry more weight than you want them to, or that you thought they would, so watch what you say. On the other hand, it's saying if you've got innovative ideas that you want to pitch to an organization bigger than you because you want to bring your dreams into a reality, the 5th is the day to do it. Pluto in Aquarius is all about change in society, and almost regardless of where you are on the globe, there's changes happening. Social changes, cultural changes, and I point this out because the shakeups that we're seeing now, a lot of people are freaked out about, or they're worried about World War III coming, or all this stupid shit. The answer is we're not going to know the answer to any of those questions until next year at the earliest. And I'm Gen X. I remember being a child in the 70s, hearing that the world was going to end in 1979. Ain't happened yet. I don't expect it to happen here. So all of you that are buying into that fear-mongering bullshit, stop. End of rant. Also in the 5th, we've got the moon in Sagittarius training Chiron, which is now conjunct the north node of the moon in Aries. So it continues the theme that now is a good time to heal your wounds. But now the added incentive is that you're going to make a lot of spiritual growth for later in this life and in future lifetimes. Also on the 5th, we've got Mars in Capricorn sextiling Neptune in Pisces, reminding us that just because you have a spiritual vision does not mean it's going to come to fruition unless you put in the legwork. And this specifically is saying today is a good day to put in that legwork. On the 6th, that moon in Capricorn is trining Jupiter in Taurus, so it's a good day to get the lead out when it comes to physical world manifestation. In short, this is a good time to say, I see the big picture, I see where I'm going professionally and personally, and now it's time to get to work and make it happen. You can see the picture and not put in the work, then you're not going to expand your consciousness or your pocketbook. Also on this day, we've got the moon in Capricorn sextiling Saturn in Pisces. So it continues the theme from the previous 5 days, which is just taking control of your spirituality, taking control of your creativity, and putting those ideas to work for you. On the 7th, we've got moon conjunct Venus in Capricorn. So not only might love be present, you might also find that money comes your way through your career. If you're already in a romantic relationship, this could be the maturing of the relationship. If you are not in a romantic relationship, focus on the career aspects. It's probably more gratifying anyway. We've also got that same Moon-Venus conjunction in Capricorn trining Uranus and Taurus. So you might find the more you take control of those things, the more it does cause changes in your daily life. But these changes in the long term are for the better, even though in the short term they might suck. On the 7th, we've also got the Sun in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus. This is a big one, so put it on your radar. Uranus is the planet of the internet and the World Wide Web. That also corresponds to Aquarius, and when you've got the Sun squaring it, it's saying that anything can happen on the 7th if you're online a lot. So forewarned is forearmed. This also means if you're out and about running errands throughout the day, you might find something happens unexpectedly that throws your whole day out of whack. That same Sun in Aquarius is sextiling Chiron in Aries, which is still conjunct the north node of the moon. So it is a good day to say, I'm going to start taking these new approaches to my life. And you're going to find, regardless of whether those new approaches work out, that it still puts you in a position for healing. On the 8th, we've got the moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto. Whenever you have the moon conjunct Pluto, your emotions are going to be strong. They're going to be stronger than normal. Your attention might be a little too much. You might have tunnel vision. What I find interesting about the moon conjunct Pluto, whenever it is, whatever sign it's in, is that you have an emotional reaction to something and it's bigger than you thought it would be. Or someone sets you off, you go off on them, and then you realize, wow, I had all that pent up in me and I didn't realize it. I need to go back and fix me. That's really the only dominant aspect on the day, but it's a biggie. Now, on another level, the moon conjunct Pluto in Aquarius is saying groups of people in positions of power may do or say something that pisses you off. And when that happens, you can either let it go or step up and do something about it. It really kind of boggles my mind that I see shitloads of people talk about social ills online, and I see nobody talking about activism. That's why you don't see me complaining online. Right now, I'm not being an activist in the public sense. But to those of you that complain and you're not volunteering with political organizations to make change or nonprofit organizations to help the collateral damage, you are the problem. On the 9th, we got that new moon in Aquarius. And not only do we have that, we got 4 planets in Aquarius, baby. The 9th is going to feel more Aquarian than an Aquarii. Don't know if it's a word, but I like it. So it's all about new beginnings. These new beginnings have to do with how you interact with society. What's your contribution to society? And if you say, I'm not making one, well, then guess what? You're not the one making the product, you're being sold. And it's that simple. Also on that day, we have Mercury squaring Jupiter in Taurus. So you might find that if you flip it with your words, it shoots you in the foot when it comes to prosperity or opportunities that come your way in daily life and the daily workplace. On the 10th, we've got another Moon Saturn conjunction. This time it's coming up in Pisces. So you might find spiritual and religious problems that you have limit your ability to handle and process your emotions, or you might find that you're too sensitive. There is such a thing as too sensitive. And what I mean by this is you might pick up on vibrations from someone else on the 10th, and instead of addressing them, you kind of pull back into your shell and retreat, and that's not good. Now, on the 11th, the next day, we have the moon in Pisces, sextiling Uranus in Taurus. This is fun because it's saying, yeah, there might be some unexpected stuff that comes up daily. But the moon in Pisces says, oh, it's going to look like a train wreck. But in the long run, you're going to come out lucky. You're going to come out ahead. So listen to your intuition on the 10th and 11th. Listen to your psychic skills on the 10th and 11th. They may take you down some unexpected and dark roads, but they're going to end up good somehow. Now, also on the 11th, we've got Venus in Capricorn sextiling Neptune in Pisces. So it's a good day to continue to bring your spiritual vision down into practical results, specifically in your career and your occupation. And because of that, you might find that money flows to you or it flows freer than normal. Relationship-wise, this is a good time to sit down with your partner and talk about where you're going, what's the plan, how do you get there, what work is required, and who's doing what. So co-creating your reality, which is all what we should be doing anyway. On the 12th, we've got the moon in Aries, that fiery moon in Aries, making an out-of-sign conjunction with Neptune in Pisces. This is an interesting one because it's saying you might have a spiritual vision, and today is the day to get started on making it happen. But in order to do that, you got to mix fire and water. You got to see the sensitivity, but not pull back and say, woe is me, or oh shit, this is too overwhelming. Step up with the fire in your soul and say, I got a vision, I'm making it happen. Oh, I'm getting all this sensory input from spirit. Rock on, bring it. You ain't brought enough yet. It's all about the attitude. It's all about the swagger. Now, the other way to interpret this conjunction is you might find if someone makes you angry and you've got problems with addictions, they rear their head this day and really mess up not only your day, but potentially your week. Right in between the 12th and the 13th, And when I did the math on this, it's actually right around midnight here in the USA. We've got Mars entering into Aquarius. So what that is saying is if you're traveling late at night on the 12th, be careful not to be distracted because it could cause accidents. Some of you that have sleep problems, you might find this is a time of insomnia. You might find that if you just switch medications for some health crisis you're dealing with, that the side effects come up while you sleep. So put it on your radar. That night's sleep might not be that smooth. On the 13th, we've got Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. This is another dangerous aspect. Both Mars and Pluto are fire planets. And when you mix in the air of Aquarius, you get fire and air. And remember, air feeds fire. So Mars and Pluto, since they're fire, they mean activity. You might find you have more energy levels than normal. They mean aggression. So if you're healthy enough to understand the benefits of hustle culture and ambition, you can put this extra energy to work for you. If you're not one of those enlightened people, then the 13th may be a day of violence. One thing I'm tired of on social media is sugarcoating shit. Mars conjunct Pluto means you are in a position for violence. You can be the victim, or you can be the one that instigated. Or maybe you're collateral damage at a bombing in your local market. Let's not sugarcoat shit. When you've got Mars conjunct Pluto, watch your back. There's pain. There's violence potentially there. So a lot of this depends on what you do that day. A lot of this depends on where you live. I'm not saying that this is going to be an oh my God, world-ending kind of violent thing. I just want to point out the fact that you can sugarcoat this and say, well, it's all about now is the time to be proactive and go down to the depths of your soul for transformation and rise like the phoenix. Yeah, all that's true, but it's also just as true that you get shot in a drive-by. Remember, we're all made from stardust, including garbage. Also on the 13th, we've got Mercury sextiling the moon, Mercury in Aquarius, the moon in Aries. It's a good time to communicate your emotions if you can slow your mind down enough to use proper words. The moon in Aries is impulsiveness. Mercury in Aquarius is clear thinking, sharp-minded, and communicable. So it's saying when someone says something to make you angry, take a deep breath, think about your words, compose yourself, then speak. Don't just jump into it because then you're playing into their game. On the 13th, we've got an Aries stellium. So this is setting the stage for what's coming up later in March and early April. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so a lot of times it gets talked about as being the pioneer kind of energy, avant-garde, going forward, making things happen, standing up for what you believe in, and all of that is true. But the drawback to Aries energy is you start 10,000 projects and you complete one. Or you get so damn stubborn you can't see when somebody is coming along to help you fix that problem. That whole Aries stellium includes the moon, Chiron, and the North Node. So it's all about healing your internal wounds in order to move forward spiritually in new cycles. So if you don't feel like growing to the next level, start 10,000 projects and only complete 10 of them. On the 14th, we've got the moon in Taurus squaring that Pluto-Mars conjunction in Aquarius. So your emotional reaction to things might cause the violence and the problems that I talked about before. It could be that you indulge in food or whatever your, we'll say addiction, but it's not addiction. I mean, yes, food is an addiction. We need it to live, but that's another story. With the moon in Taurus squaring Pluto conjunct Mars, it's more like if you do a lot of instant gratification or indulge in comfort foods, it's probably going to come back on you tenfold in painful and bad ways. Now, on the 14th, right on the heels of that Aries stellium on the 13th, we have a Taurus stellium, including the moon, Jupiter, and Uranus. Long story short, the 14th is a day to stay the course. Play it calm, play it relaxed, focus on handling your emotions, focus on the higher side of that Pluto-Mars conjunction as it pertains to personal transformation. Don't get excessive, don't get liberal with your choices for indulgence. Stay the course, and by staying the course, unexpected good things will probably happen. On the 15th, we've got the moon conjunct Uranus and Taurus. Guess what that means? Yeah, staying the course the day before worked, and now today you see the results. Or maybe it worked yesterday and it doesn't work today. On that day, that same conjunction, moon and Uranus in Taurus, is squaring Mercury in Aquarius. And I point this out because what it is saying is watch your words on social media, watch what you say on the internet. Maybe it is educational bias, but my degree's in journalism, and people seem to forget the number one rule, which I learned, I don't know, in the late 80s, which is don't put anything on the internet that you don't want splashed on the front page of the newspaper around the world when you do it. So all of you that post those dumbass notices, I do not give Facebook or Instagram or whatever permission to use my images and text. Well, guess what? You're dumb if you're posting that. Am I judging? Yeah, I don't care. I learned this shit almost 40 years ago. Now, I'm not saying you should have learned it then, but what I am saying is you haven't figured it out by now. Anything you post online can and will be used against you by a court of your peers. The 15th is going to serve as a good reminder. Don't do that. If it matters, keep it off social media. On the 16th, Venus enters into Aquarius, so the love might be flowing a lot freer between you and your romantic partners or you and your immediate family. This is the all-encompassing we are one love combination with Venus in Aquarius. So donate your time to a local charity or humanitarian effort. Maybe reach out to people and say, hey, I was wrong about something in the past. I'm sorry. I want to make it up. Or can we at least bury the hatchet? The moon in Taurus on that day is sextiling Neptune in Pisces, which brings with it the reminder, don't forget to bring your spiritual vision down to physical results. But unlike earlier in the month when it was Capricorn involved in this sextile, now it's Taurus. So now it's not so much about taking the initiative. Now it's just about continuing the work. The moon in Taurus on the 16th is also trining that Pluto conjunct Venus. And I had to do a double take there because you generally don't see something in Taurus trining something in Aquarius, which means it's an out of sign trine. So you may find that mentally you're ready to make the deep-rooted changes. Mentally you are realizing that the only way that we're going to survive this rock going around the sun is through unity, but your emotions need to catch up. Your emotional maturity needs to catch up. How you handle daily life needs to catch up. On the 16th, we've also got, like I hinted at with that trine, Venus conjunct Pluto. So it's a good day to change how you view society. And I know that's going to make a lot of conservatives unhappy, and I don't. And I know that's going to make a lot of liberals unhappy, and I don't care. It's time for a change because what you all are doing isn't working. It's only causing problems. When are you going to grow up? On the 16th, we also have the sun in Aquarius squaring the moon. So it's a quarter moon, first quarter to be exact. As much as you want to be avant-garde, you might find that you're ready to embrace it, but you're lazy about it. Or you're ready to embrace it, but it's so far out of your comfort zone, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Common themes. It's okay. Figure it out as you go. That's all life is figuring it out as you go. On the 17th, the moon in Gemini, sextiling Chiron in the north node of the moon in Aries, tells us this is a good time to reach out and talk to people if you want to make spiritual growth. This is a good time to reach out and talk to people if you want to heal internal wounds. And really, this is just a good day to have fun. So have fun. It's been intense with a lot of that Capricorn energy earlier in the month. Now it's about time to blow off some steam. Be careful how you blow off that steam though, because on the 17th, we've got Mars conjunct Venus, conjunct Pluto, all in Aquarius. Remember what I said earlier about the relationship between Mars and Pluto and throw Venus in the mix? Some might say, well, you got fire and water there with that blend. That water can diminish a lot of the fire. And you're right. But with this conjunction, it's saying it's time to change how you view sexuality specifically. Whenever you have Mars blended with Venus, almost regardless of the aspect, it's talking about sexuality. How you see your sexuality, how you accept others for their sexuality. It comes with the reminder to keep your nose out of other people's fucking bedrooms. You might want to focus on your own life because obviously your own life is trash if you're in a position to do that. And the Pluto says you're going to perform internal change and transformation if you do that. But if you take that and apply it to the greater society, you're probably going to ruffle some feathers, and good for you because you're doing what's right. On the 17th, we also have Mercury in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus, reminding us, if it matters, don't put it on social media. Reminding us, if you make a soundbite or a comment on one of the social media sites, don't be surprised if it blows up larger than expected. The 18th brings us the moon in Gemini trining the sun in Aquarius. It's a good day for brainstorming. It's a good day for socialization. It's a good day to spend lighthearted time with friends and family. But also on that day, that moon in Gemini is squaring Neptune in Pisces. So it's saying go out and have your fun. Just don't get carried away to excess. And that moon in Gemini is trining Mercury in Aquarius, so your communication skills are going to be on point. They're going to be sharper than normal. So are your adaptability skills. The 19th brings the solar ingress into Pisces, so we shift away from Aquarius season into Pisces season. I like that because I'm a Pisces. But it also means the 18th and 19th, there might be challenges and problems when it comes to emotions, spirituality. For those of you that are empaths and have not cultivated the skill to handle it yet, the 18th and 19th could present a lot of problems. Also on the 19th, the moon in Cancer is sextiling Jupiter in Taurus. So your intuition is going to guide you during the day to find the doors of opportunity that can open the vaults of prosperity. So in other words, on the 19th, go with your gut and don't be surprised if you're right. Whether that's winning a lotto, whether that is making changes to your day to make yourself more productive, that's really up to you. We've also got that same moon in Cancer trining Saturn in Pisces, which means it's a good day to change your spirituality, to change your religious side. For those of you that do proactive work with spirituality, the 19th specifically, and to a lesser extent, the 20th, is a great day for spiritual initiation. The 20th, the moon in Cancer is trining Neptune in Pisces, as well as sextiling Uranus in Taurus. On one hand, the 20th says this might be too much of a good thing. Too much emotions. So you might feel overwhelmed. Empaths put this on your radar because this could be a day where you go the extra mile to protect yourself. This is also telling us your intuition is in line with you, not only your psychic side, but also spirit in general. And if you get emotionally distracted, it could cause problems in your daily life. They may work out well in the long run, but in the short term, they're going to suck. However, if you take all this emotional energy on the 20th and put it to work for you in your daily life with practical results, you might find you get bigger results than you thought. The 21st brings that moon in Leo now, shifting out of Cancer, opposing Mars, which is conjunct Venus in Aquarius. I wanted to put that pause there. And the reason I wanted to put that pause there is to give you pause for thought. The moon in Leo is creative, optimistic, fun-loving, romantic, creative. It can also be egocentric, narcissistic, sociopathic. And when it's opposing Mars conjunct Venus in Aquarius, what this is telling us is narcissism may negatively impact your romantic life. Or maybe you get so caught up in what does something mean for you that you forget it means something more to other groups of people. And if you spot that, you need to put your ego in check and say, well, I don't feel that way, but the majority of people do. I should just grow up and go with it because it's not impacting me positively or negatively in my daily life. Also on the 21st, that moon in Leo is opposing Pluto in Aquarius, so it's saying that some of your opinions might piss people off. It's also saying that you might find yourself at conflict with society. And I'll tell you right now, even though I don't like saying this, you're going to be the one in the wrong because society is constantly evolving and constantly changing. And many times it goes in directions we don't like. But that doesn't make it wrong. It just means we need to look past duality consciousness to find the right answers. And on the 21st, that moon in Leo is squaring Jupiter in Taurus. So the main theme of the 21st is narcissism, being self-absorbed, caring about the self, not caring about others. That's the danger for the day. On one hand, the positive here is that you can really gain some humility. You can really gain some creativity. You can have some fun and some playfulness if you choose to segregate yourself away from society. But if you decide to be a ego-driven ass, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. And I don't just mean on the 21st. With that moon square Jupiter in Taurus, it's saying you open your mouth, you insert foot, you might lose opportunities that were there for you otherwise, and it's your own damn fault. On the 22nd, that moon continues in Leo, which it does for the 23rd as well. But on the 22nd, it's sextiling Chiron conjunct the North Node in Aries. So whereas the 21st was all about the dangers of narcissism and being self-absorbed, the 22nd says, that was yesterday. Today, it's all about shining your best and your brightest. It's all about the creativity. It's all about the optimism. It's all about the playfulness. Because that is how you heal yourself mentally and how you move forward spiritually on this day. The 22nd also brings us the moon in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus, so it's the reminder, watch what you say in recorded mediums. Now, Venus is also conjunct Mars in Aquarius on that day, which is squaring Jupiter in Taurus. That's going to be going on until about March 1st. That tells us during that time, play it safe when it comes to your loved ones, whether they're romantic partners or close friends and family. The 23rd brings the moon in Leo, like I said, opposing Mercury in Pisces, and the lesson of this aspect is real simple. Don't expect people to know what you're saying. Speak in a clear, optimistic, detailed way. If you're usually on the same page with someone mentally, the 23rd might remind you can't always rely on that. Mercury also moves into Pisces on the 23rd, so it's a good day to commune with spirit and reach out to the spiritual world. And on the 23rd, we got 4 planets in Pisces. Holla, it's Pisces season. We got Mercury, the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune all in Pisces. For those of you who love that Pisces energy with the innovation and the visionary aspects and the creativity and the muse and the feelings and the psychic development, this is your day. With this much concentration in Pisces on the 23rd, it does tell us if you've got addiction problems, you're prone to escapism in an unhealthy sense, that day's really going to test your resolve. So put that on your radar too. On the 24th, the moon in Virgo opposes Saturn in Pisces. When you have the moon opposing Saturn, it's saying it's time to find the middle balance between the two. Saturn is calling for growth and maturity. The moon is talking about instant gratification in daily life. So on the 24th, it's saying this is the day, the 24th and the 25th, to focus on work. Focus on your daily life. On the 24th, it's putting spiritual lessons and growth aside, or better yet, finding the harmony between the two. On the 24th, we also have the moon in Virgo trining Jupiter in Taurus. which underscores the idea to focus on work. Use your analytical faculties, use your discerning intelligence, especially considering the fact that the 24th is the full moon in Pisces. Yes, full moon in Pisces, not full moon in Virgo. The 25th brings that moon in Virgo trining Uranus and Taurus. It's a good day to use the internet and all your technological tools to make your life better. The unexpected might just open up to you on that day if you do. Also on the 25th, Venus conjunct Mars in Aquarius is squaring Jupiter in Taurus. Your ideas might be ahead of their time, and this is the day you find it out. You might get too cerebral with people, so use practical, real-world, physical examples. Not everything is existential. Some things are pragmatic. Also on the 25th, the moon in Virgo is opposing Neptune in Pisces now, so it underscores the theme, put all the emotional, spiritual stuff aside and focus on work. The 26th brings the moon in Libra, moving out now, trining Pluto in Aquarius. It's a good time to make changes to your circle of friends. It's a good time to make changes in society, where you spend your time when you're integrated with society. It's also a day you might be indecisive about things. On the 27th, that same moon in Libra is opposing the Chiron North Node of the Moon conjunction in Aries. So your ambivalence might get in the way of your spiritual growth in good, or maybe you're so focused on being the diplomat and the peacemaker that you don't see how it is short-circuiting your greatest growth in good. Or maybe you're saying, yeah, those are my wounds, I'm going to work within them. We do need to work within our limits. I give you that. But if it's a wound, and we can heal it, there's no reason not to. And on the 27th, that moon in Libra is trining the Mars-Venus conjunction in Aquarius, which underscores what I was saying the day before. Now is a good time to have some fun, brainstorming, trying new theater for a show, maybe trying different friend circles. But also, and this is the most important part of all this air emphasis, trying something new. We see the old, it's not working as it is. It's time for new. If that's not your view, don't care what you think, you're not right. Now, having said that, you can't always embrace the new without forgetting tradition. Yeah, welcome in the new ideas, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and expect tradition to change. Weave the two together. That's one of the best compliments I got. I saw it on social media a few days ago. Some random poster said they liked the fact that my work is rooted in traditionalism, but it's still kind of visionary and moving the bar forward. That's what I ask of all of you. Just because you see the new way to do things does not mean you throw out the established way to do things. It means you weave the two together. It's really not that hard. And finally, on the 28th, that last day of the month, guess what? It's a nice quiet day. No appreciable aspects on the 28th. How cool is that? February comes in with the bang on the 1st, but by the 28th, everything's nice and calm, giving you a day to catch your breath. So you can see that the themes of the month start off with the big picture questions. Where are you going? How do you get there? Is that what you want for your life? How do you get what you want for your life? What price are you willing to pay to get it? And then through the rest of the month, it shifts into understanding your relationship with society, how it's time to make changes. And then when you throw in the Pisces component, it gives you a reminder you're probably going to be ahead of your time, but that's not a reason to not do things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you to Adam Knox and the Cult of You for doing the behind the scenes work. Monthly horoscopes are up on my website, 418ascendant.com. Daily horoscopes will continue on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads. I'm probably going to add TikTok too, not because I give a damn about it, but people like it for some reason. So this is a perfect example. Society is evolving in that more video fashion, that more direction. It's not my thing. I don't even like it, but you know what? If that's the direction it's going, I'm going to go along with it, because not going along with it sets me up for failure, and that's just dumb. Anyway, thank you for checking this out. Share your comments. We can always engage in conversations. And as we move through this next month, just remember we're all spiritual beings having a physical existence as we move together as one species on Earth through the cosmos. Salud.